Warning, there may be explicit language in today's episode. Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our last show of the week, episode 59, our last show that we're recording back to back at the time of this recording. So this one, we are reviewing the season for Edinboro Football. I will do one later with probably Nathaniel for Edinboro Women's Soccer. So the main thing I can say about this team, and Alex can agree, and we've said it thousands of times, that this team was a lot better than the record showed.
Yeah.
There's some ups, there's some downs. They ended the season. By the way, we're gonna get to the Millersville game. Everybody knows what happens. I want to make this very clear. Neither of us are trashing on Coach Nolf. You know,
No.
It's a decision that was made. And of course, people have opinions on it, but we're not going to throw hate. We don't do that here. So,
no.
So, and I have so much respect for Coach Nolf, and I hope his the next venture at what's it called again?
Kiski. Yeah.
Kiski. Okay, hopefully it all goes well there. So good luck. Real quick before we start, he will be trying out for the NFL. Mr. Reed Martin. I do not care what team he is signed to. The first team he is signed to, I am buying his jersey. It could be the Browns. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. So yeah. So good luck to Reed. Good luck to Coach Nolf. And of course, obviously, Alex, there's a lot of people that have entered the transfer portal. Good luck to them as well.
Yes.
So
good luck to all the boys out there.
All the boys. There's some good. Everybody on this team. They're good people. Like, no. That's all we got to say about that. But all right. So I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna go each game, and hopefully doesn't take forever. But of course, as everybody knows, so the record was 3-8, 2-4 in the conference, and ended the year with a 2-game losing streak. 2-4 at home, and then 1-4 at away, and everybody knows that one away win, and we're gonna get to it, trust me. So first game, East Stroudsburg. First of all, I'm just gonna say real quick, and I'm gonna go back and forth with the sharing the screen. Actually, no, I don't want to go back and forth. Everybody, you can go GoFightingScots.com. You don't need to. I'm not gonna go back and forth. So the first preview that I did, first of all, shout out to Lambda Chi Alpha for giving me that shot for the preview. Going crazy. Shout out Garrett Hanna. Shout out Logan Hanna. Shout out Tiger. Shout out everybody. Some great people at Lambda Chi Alpha. Forget what Yik Yak says. But, and I had to take the glasses off. I've worn them for 2 hours. So this game dropped 24-12. I remember this game. Our first under the lights since we've been at Edinboro. We had class. It was a Thursday night. We had class that day. The atmosphere was awesome. I had so much fun leading up to the game and everything.
Game, class the next day.
Like I had so much fun leading up to that game. Just like, oh, this is gonna be fun. I can't wait. When Mr. Wodier said pack the stands, the stands are packed. And then, funny enough, that's where I saw Sean again and asked him if he wanted to come back on the show 2 weeks, and he did. And then, actually, fun fact, also when I met Carly, and that's when she came on the show too. But yeah. So when we say my opinion, if we mean to, we don't want to get anybody mad, but it is what it is. It's in the past. Can't change anything now. Definitely a game that Edinboro probably should have won. Let's
definitely a winnable one.
But looking at it real quick, Ike that game had 22 completions for 162 yards. He did have 2 picks. And then Reed actually had a pass as well, 24 yards to Clayton Beason, and then Lambeau kicked the 39-yard field goal at that point. But Alex, talk me through that game. I mean, obviously the atmosphere was fun, but of course what everybody remembers is that they lost that game, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that was a tough one for sure. I mean, like you said, it was pretty electric. Thursday night, 7 p.m., beginning of classes and everything like that. So everyone was on campus. Everyone was excited. It was an awesome environment. And honestly, the faithful were really good throughout the entire season, even when there were a couple stretches where we had a bit of a tough time. But, there was a couple avoidable mistakes. Early fumble on the first drive led to an early touchdown. Big pick thrown by Ike at one point. We talked about that stuff when it happened, so I won't get into too much detail. But, great environment. East Stroud's was a really good team this year.
Yeah.
Two avoidable mistakes that more than likely could have changed the outcome of that game. But hey, I think the defense played pretty well in that game overall. Offense just hadn't found their footing quite yet, and it was definitely a good way to learn to open the season. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really hope that Edinboro plays a lot more under the lights games on like a Thursday night, because it's electric. It really is. It was fun. It was really fun, and I hope they keep doing it because you have the lights for a reason. Soccer takes advantage of that, which is phenomenal. So yeah. So all right, the game everybody talks about. Robert Morris. I'm just getting chills thinking about it now. Ike, we've talked about it so many times, but we're talking about it again. Ike was 20 for 27, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He did his job. And everybody. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. Everybody did their job. Karan, 16 carries for, I believe I'm reading it right, 97 yards. And of course, Bo, who led, I believe, the team with touchdowns, with rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm leaving stuff out, or if I'm misspeaking on some things, it's because it's still a few months ago. So it was yeah. But first, when Ike scored his first touchdown, I was like, okay, all right, okay. And then as the game continued to go on, we kept playing well. Of course, Army was going to score. And I'm like, are we going to win this? And then Adrian had a great pick, which he told us that he thought he lost in the lights. And then Reed with the absolute most beautiful punt. What was it, 75 yards?
Punt of a lifetime.
75 yards, right?
74. Yeah.
74. Still, 74 yards.
Holy cow. I know. It's unbelievable.
Puts him on the 1. And they come out, and Robert Morris comes out and empty. Alex, you obviously see. I would say that I know football pretty well, but not like extremely well like you, Coach Bailey.
Right.
So you were there. Talk about leading up to the day, to that game, while you were setting up in the press box and as the game was going on, and then, of course, the end of the game.
Yeah, that game really felt different. Just like the whole week of preparation, we had a little bit of extra time to prepare because we played on Thursday night to open the year. So we obviously had an extra day or two to prepare, which really definitely helped, I would say. But like I said, man, just the bus ride down there, everything, like it all just felt like everyone just felt so confident. We were all so frustrated after the East Stroudsburg game because we knew that we could have prevented some mistakes. We made some preventable mistakes, and we knew that we probably would have won that game if we cleaned those things up. So we really came into Robert Morris with some extra intensity, especially with that little extra bit of preparation time to really just, figure them out, figure out what they wanted to do. And I mean, we came out there, played a hard game, you know, hit them in the mouth early, that huge 15 play drive to open the game, that like 10-minute drive. Went down, got a touchdown, just set the pacing for the game, set the tone. And some big guys made some big plays, Adrian getting the big pick, um the big 4th-and-1 stuff right before the drive that ended up with Reed's 74-yard punt. Everyone talks about the punt. No one talks about the fact that we had the ball in that spot because of the fact that we stuffed them on 4th and inches right before that. So, big time game. Just the energy, the intensity, just the getting set up the entire time before the game and during the game. It just felt like everyone was focused, everyone was locked in, and it was just insane. It really was. As soon as they came out in that empty look on the one at the end of the game, I literally said out loud, I was like, "Oh my God, we're about to win! Like this is probably going to be a safety." And obviously, that ended up being the biggest play of the game. Tristan comes unblocked, smashes Chickett, I believe, is their quarterback, smashed him in the end zone. He fumbled. We ended up getting a safety out of it, and that obviously ended up being the game. So, massive one. The energy was just unbelievable leading up to that game. And then obviously, being in a stadium that I had, you know, played ball out with my friends for fun. We go out there to, throw a football around and stuff on multiple occasions. Walton Stadium's an unbelievable venue. So crazy experience overall, unbelievable win.
Yeah. And just the second that clock hits 0, let me tell you, the campus was fun. It was fun. It was fun. Everybody was just ecstatic and so happy that happened. But it's a game everyone's gonna remember forever, really. And I wish I went. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I went. But yeah. So moving on to one of the probably one of the most frustrating losses this year.
Yeah.
Cuts Ike was 22 for 32, 119 yards and a pick. Matt was in threw the ball once, had 5 attempts for 8 yards. Yeah, man. Tegan got the ball 11 times, 59 yards, and rushing. Jerry only 9 attempts and 28 yards. So obviously Cutstown did a good job stopping the run. Their running back, and if I mispronounce names, I apologize. Curtis Ravenel Jr. carried the ball 5 times for 80 yards, and Burkhart got the ball 10 times for 68 yards. And of course, their quarterback, Jude Novak, 11 for 22, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Obviously, there was more frustrating losses that we'll get to, and Cutstown is obviously really good. So you don't want to take anything away from Cutstown, but yeah, not a good game.
Yeah, man. No, they play a pretty aggressive brand of football. I'll give them that. They came out, they played violent, they played big, they played bigger than us. It was a close game for a while, but their defense was clamping us up so good that eventually the defense could only do so much, and it started to give way a bit. But I think there was one really weird play that happened. We were down in the red zone, completed a pass, player was down, or never even had it was Gavin, and he either was down or didn't even have possession of the ball, and they called it a fumble and gave it to Kutztown. There was some weird stuff that happened in that game, but they came out, they played big. We were feeling really good after the RMU game, but they played big, and they smacked us around a bit. And it was definitely a frustrating one, but you're gonna have those sometimes. They were a really good football team, and they did really well this year in the Division II level. So, hey.
Yeah, man. All right, next. Once again, another frustrating loss. Bloomsburg. Their quarterback, KJ Riley, 16 for 21, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jake Williams got the ball 16 times for 38. So, uh, so yeah, so then Ike 30 for 45, 339 yards, and 3 touchdowns and a pick. So Ike played pretty well. Matt threw the ball once for 13 yards. Jerry carried 19 times for 45. Tegan Brown got the ball 6 times for 84 yards. Isaiah Greer 4 for 51, 1 touchdown, and then which could have been the game winner.
I forgot Zay had the big touchdown. That's right.
Yep. And then France also had a touchdown, by the way. And then Elo could have had his first game winner, got the ball 2 times for 55 yards and a touchdown. Because Bloomsburg did march straight back down and then scored their game winner, and then it was all she wrote from there. That one right there. That one, another win. And that should have been another win. So you give your thoughts on that game. Then we'll get to, I believe, Slip is next.
Yeah, Slip is next. But, this was a tough one. They surprised us. They hadn't really shown much of their passing game. They're predominantly an option style team. That's typically their brand and what they run. But they were, I imagine, know that going into that game that we are pretty good at stopping the run. So, props to them. They did a lot of work, I would imagine, going into the game that Saturday to prepare their quarterback and their receivers to put some work in, and they did. We were ready for them to run the ball a bunch, and they did early. But they were able to adjust when they needed to and throw the ball, and it ended up getting them the victory. So, hey.
Yeah. All right. So, was it the Slippery Rock game or the Clarion game when there was the uniform issue?
That was Clarion.
Okay, so we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Slippery Rock.
The debut of the all gray,
which was awesome. Now, which one was the play where all 3 of them were in? Ike, Bo, and was it this game or was it also Clarion?
No, that was I believe that was Clarion. Yeah.
Okay, another thing we'll get to later, but Slippery Rock. So what I remember from this one was if we could have played better in the first half, would have beat Slip. I'm telling you right now. Would have. But first half was rough. Ike was 16 for 27, 117 yards and a pick. Karan carried the ball 13 times for 54. Oh, my laptop's messing with me. France 4 for 58. Tegan 5 for 49. Jerry carried the ball 7 for 21. Also, Karan had a touchdown, by the way, and then Bo had 2 rushing. Bo had 2 rushing touchdowns. By the way, I'm not saying the final scores. My fault. Well, first of all, this was 28-23 Slippery Rocks. So their quarterback was 15 for 23, 212 and a touchdown. Braden Long. They did well rushing. 15 carries for 119 yards for Idis Lawrence. And I
believe he declared, or he's transferring
really?
Somewhere else. I forget which one, but
yeah. Kylan Wilson got the ball 6 times for 92 yards. So real quick, I just want to pull up the scores that I did not mention. East Stroudsburg 24-12. Robert Morris, the final score was 23-21. The safety sealed it. Kutztown was 26-0. Bloomsburg was 32-27. So there's that. Yeah. So I remember texting you after this game. This one was also very frustrating.
Yeah, this was one that we played Kutztown and they, like you said, they beat us 26-0, and then Slip jumped out. And going into the Slip game, they were also highly ranked. I believe them and Kutztown were like 5 and 6 at the time in all of D2. They were both, top 10 teams that we were playing. And Slip jumped out the gate with the 28-0 lead, and I was pretty worried because I was like, wow, we're playing another opponent at the same level of Kutztown, and they're coming out way faster than Kutz did. It took Kutz almost the whole game to get to that 26-0 final score. And then, we caught fire, started rattling off some drives, some long drives, some big plays, and then all of a sudden it was 28-23, and Slippery Rock unfortunately just put together a masterful 6 or 7 minute drive, I want to say, at the end of the game to kill the rest of the clock, and didn't put the ball back in our hands again. So, and that was after another immaculate Reed Martin punt that pinned them back deep. So just one that we got down a little too big too early, and unfortunately could not steal. It would have been a comeback for the ages, no doubt.
Yeah. So next one. You were right going leading up to this game. You said if we beat IUP at homecoming, get ready.
Get ready.
There was obviously mistakes in this game, but their quarterback, Carson Hunter, 19 for 28, 209 yards and 2 picks. Then Ike was 21 for 36, 134 and a touchdown. I thought I played reasonably well, in my opinion. Bo had 2 passes for 9 yards and a touchdown. And then Matt threw once for 4 yards. Karan, 9 for 33. And then Bo with 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, Bo show.
And then, of course, Jeremiah Neely had a touchdown as well. And then,
big time game, yeah.
And then, of course, and by the way, the final score was 27-23 Edinboro. And
a score that will forever remain in my brain.
Yes, and of course, the touchdown that we love to talk about on the show. By the way, the last drive, we drove the ball really well down the field, throwing to it Coburn twice, and then the hurry up offense
twice.
The hurry up offense was really good.
Coburn with a John Elway-esque helicopter drive on the 4th and 7 to keep the game alive.
Dude,
unbelievable.
I was sitting with Avery Ennis and his family, and I was I looked at him. I said, I don't have I'm friends with people on the team, but I don't have anybody family wise on the team, and even I feel nervous. It
was crazy.
Just crazy. So then those 4th, I was like, please, just please. And then they got it, and I was like, oh my God. And then the last play leading up, I was like, come on. And who should catch the game winner but the man from Delaware,
Evan Lowe.
Yes. Left corner, just has his feet in, right place at the right time, catches it.
Still don't get why that DB overran the route so much, but he really overran that.
Really did. And then he was there, touchdown. I told Elo this. His number's 83, right?
Yeah.
I told him this. I said, I was going crazy. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I was so nerve-wracking, blah, blah, blah. And then after it happened, I was like, oh my God, we're going to win. And then I thought to myself, 83. No.
Yeah.
And it was. So awesome.
Also spurring one of the greatest live calls of all time from Joe. The most amazing commentary ever.
Absolutely. And we, in fact, indeed, did party that night.
Yeah, we did.
Elo's interview.
Went crazy that night. That was also, for those of you that don't remember, by the way, that was coming off the bye week. We lost the slip in that very close to the comeback game, and then we had the bye week, and then we played IUP. So that rest week.
It was homecoming. So the festivities were crazy. But so there was actually 2, and I'm going to mention it again when we do the soccer review. But there was 2 instances where I noticed between football and soccer that people were at the right place at the right time. Elo's go ahead touchdown. And then I forget who it was, but some girl on this headbutts the ball, but it goes backwards, and they're down by 1. And Kylie Cross was at the right place at the right time, gets a breakaway, scores, and the game ends in a tie, and they don't lose. You were there, right? That was crazy.
Yeah, I think I was.
I was like, Kylie was legitimately at the right place at the right time. So it was crazy. But yeah, so give your thoughts on the IUP game.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
your answer.
that bye week was huge. We came out of the slip game knowing how we could play. We obviously came roaring back and had them scared for their lives. I know that because I know someone personally on the Slippery Rock football staff, and he said that they were scared for their lives when that comeback was happening. So obviously we knew what we could do, and then we got to get a week of rest from the bye week, which that's the one really good thing. Week 0 games I'm always kind of on, like I don't really think one way or another about them. But for like D2, when you don't ever have a bye week during the season, playing week 0 and getting that bye after the first couple games is pretty big. So it gave us a lot of rest. We had a couple good lighter practices during the bye week. We only practiced we didn't practice the full week of the bye week, but like we did what we had to do. We installed everything we had to do, and it really gave us time to get right. And credit to all the guys, credit to Coach Nolf for being able to get the guys to plug back in after that week of rest. So that was huge for us. That rest, we were able to come out there and be violent and aggressive, and IUP ended up losing because they didn't have a bye week at the same time as us. So we lost to Slip, and then during our bye week, Slip beat IUP on a game-winning touchdown, and then the next week we beat IUP on a game-winning touchdown. So between us getting rest and IUP being kind of demoralized from giving up a game winner the week before, it was pretty big. So big-time game. Party hardy in Edinboro that night. It was great. Awesome.
Yep. So next one, lots of frustration. Big time. So first of all, there was an issue with the uniforms, and I'm going to let Alex explain that.
Yeah, so this is a really weird thing. So the way we understood going there was we were going to wear I think we wore the gray jerseys and the white pants that game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we wore. We wore the gray jerseys and the white pants. And from the way we understood it, which is true, this is, correct information. We, as long as our uniforms weren't directly clashing with a primary color from the other team, I believe is how it works. We are not required by the Peace Act to notify the other team, the home team, if we're wearing something, as long as it doesn't clash with their primary colors. I believe they wore all blue in that game, or blue and white, something like that. And we wore the gray jerseys and the white pants, and they weren't directly conflicting, but the coach was not happy about it from Clarion, so he had a rule enforced for us not informing Clarion about our uniform decision that cost us a 15-yard penalty and one of our timeouts at the start of each half. So that was really weird.
Yeah. So the play up that I wanted to mention too was the first play was Isaac, Bo, and Matt were all out there.
Yeah.
You know what? You'll do a better job explaining it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name it just because I'm not gonna, name the package or anything like that. But we had just beaten IUP. We were feeling really good, and we were coming into the game against Clarion, a team that we historically have beaten more often than not. And we unfortunately did lose a pretty bad one of them the year before. So, excuse me. So we wanted to come out and just kind of like throw some freaky stuff at them, see how they handled it, because we really just wanted to like go all out in this game, ride the wave from the IUP wins. So we had this package with all three quarterbacks. I forget how it was lined up. I believe it was like Ike at quarterback, Bo at running back, and like Matt outside as one of the receivers, something like that. It was something hilarious. It was absurd. And like the whole plan was just first play of the game, we're just gonna like come out in that package and just like throw a one-on-one ball to Matt. And obviously, I don't remember if we didn't end up like getting the playoff right, or like if we threw it to Matt and he just wasn't able to pull it in. But
no, I was watching that game. I was watching that game, and they said Matt Carlisle in at quarterback. I'm like, nope, that's Ike. But yes,
yeah, that's Ike.
But yep, all three of them were out there.
They were all out there.
But yeah, so, and if anybody knows how did I know that, I know what their numbers are. So
yeah,
so I knew. But yeah, so 29-28, Edinboro did have the lead for basically the entire game, and literally the entire game, and Clarion did score 20 in the fourth. Just it's brutal. Ike was 26 for 42, 223 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. let's give credit to Clarion's quarterback, man, Anthony Greco. Sorry, 24 for 36, 372 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. He played really well.
Yeah, he's like the best. He was like, we were talking about going into that game, like, we thought Clarion was a team about on our level, which I mean, 1-point game. I would say that's probably true. And honestly, of all things, like that kid is, probably one of the best, if not the best, dual threat quarterback in the PSAC. So
right. He also had
he had a
19
game.
carries. He had 19 carries for 98 yards and a touchdown. So there's that. Karan for the run game struggled. Karan carried the ball 4 times, 22 yards, but they only carried the ball only had 4 attempts and only had 22 carries out of everybody. And then receiving Coburn 3 for 59. Neely had a touchdown and Bo, of course, rushing touchdown. So yeah, real quick.
One of the freakiest picks I've ever seen in my life, by the way. I think it was Ike's second pick, or it might have been the first pick, actually. I think it was the first pick.
Wait, is this what I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I believe it's the first pick because then we threw one on like the last drive trying to get into field goal range to kick a game winner. But Ike throws a crosser to Tegan. Tegan goes to complete the catch. He gets, wrapped up as he's going to complete the catch. And then he gets like flipped, kicks the ball in the air, like over his head, right to a DB from Claire. One of the most unbelievable bounces I've ever seen before. And then like the one time we punted and the ball literally bounced straight off the helmet of one of Clarion's guys and right to their punt returner. Like just 2 unbelievably improbable bounces that really changed the whole direction of the game.
Yeah. So for time reasons, we're going to go through, and then of course we'll leave some time for the last one. Gannon. 25-21 Gannon. Their quarterback was 15 for 25, 191 yards and a touchdown. Really good with the run game. Jaden Whitaker, 14 carries for 94 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ike was 15 for 19, 159 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he got 3 touchdowns. Matt threw the ball Matt was 2 for 3. I believe Hail Mary was the interception. Correct me if I'm wrong, or just
I'm pretty sure.
Karan had a really good game. 22 carries for 122 yards. Reed, of course, I'm guessing since he's here, I'm guessing there was another fake punt.
Yeah, that's right.
1 for 29. So since Reed is obviously graduating and then Coach Nolf is gone, I guess we can say this. Reed obviously was so good where if he saw the lane, that was his call.
Yeah.
So so there's that. And then so another frustrating one, but
another really improbable play. I mean, that last drive for Gannon when they took the lead, where the snap went between the quarterback's legs, it rolled like 15 yards back, and then the kid ran all the way back, picked up the ball, and like off his back foot just launched it like 40, 50 yards and completed a pass, like just barely over. I think it was Amari's hand. Yeah, Amari Jones went up to knock it down, and it just literally went. Like, I don't know how this kid managed to throw a ball that perfect in that situation, but it literally couldn't have been more than a couple inches from the tips of Amari's fingers.
But all right, moving on for time reasons. Seton Hill, 24-22. Another one we won, but one that was close. Jake Cruz was 17 for 30, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, so he played well. Ike was 11 for 22, 107 and a touchdown. Karan 14 for 81, and Bo with 2 touchdowns. Carried the ball 14 times for 67 yards. Matt carried the ball 3 times for 23 yards. So there's that. So for time reasons, we're going to move on. Cal, final score was 28-14 Cal. Ike was 29 for 49, 334 yards and a touchdown. So yards-wise, pretty good. Their quarterback...
Davis Black?
Or Black... since they're backward. 12
Yeah,
for
Dave's
20,
black.
183 yards, 2 touchdowns. Karan 8 for 69. Tegan, great game.
Yeah.
10 got the ball 10 times, 148 yards and a touchdown. France 3 for 56. Bizon 4 for 35. Gavin got the ball 5 times, 21 yards as well. So there's that. And the final game. Yeah. Millersville
Yeah.
went into the game without a win. And the final score was 23-21 Millersville. Ryan Zelt, 26 for 41, 3 touchdowns, 336 yards. He played well. Jim and Morris, 19 for 81. Ike was 26 for 35, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns. Played a lot better in the second half. Not a good first half from Edinboro. Just something seemed off on the offense from my memory, of course.
France went off in this game with the 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Ziggy touched the ball 1 time and got a 25-yard touchdown. That's right.
Yep. Jerry carried the ball 11 times for 41 yards. And yeah, France got the ball 9 times, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tegan 6 for 70. This was senior night, obviously. Also, let's shout out. We keep talking about the offense. I want to shout out guys on the defense this year that deserve shout outs. Obviously everybody deserves shout outs that played well. But it's just the ones that we could see. But I want to give a shout out to Fredo, Toby, Klein, Tristan Waldeer, who was the one that sealed the game versus Robert Morris, Zach Malpica, our guy, CJ Waldeer, JT Taylor, Jermaine Atkins, Adrian, of course. Clay. Wait, which game was it? Wasn't it a Cal game?
Neck roll touchdown.
Clay Cunningham
Neck roll touchdown.
Oh man, dude, that was awesome. I was so happy. But yeah, so shout out to the defense. Shout out to Coach Papley. Always gets the boys ready. But yeah, Alex, Millersville. Of course, everybody knows what happened at the end of the game. What you could have done, and probably should have done. This is just opinion based. I'm not, like we said in the beginning, nobody deserves any hate. But of course, you could have argued, call a timeout. They're going to make the field goal, get enough time to drive down because the team was driving in the second half, and then kick a field goal, go to overtime, try to win the game. That's not what happened. The time went down to at least 2. We were going to try to block the field goal. Yeah. We were trying to block the field goal, and we did not, and that's how the season ended. Rough way to end the season.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, we blocked so many kicks all year.
Yeah. So, I don't mind taking a chance with that, but, in all honesty, probably should have called a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, we blocked 6 kicks throughout the year between punts and field goals / extra points. I could see both sides of the coin. I get it. The offense was rolling, so I could definitely see, calling that. I believe that would have been our last timeout. Would have gotten probably about 25 to 30 seconds. I mean, it's seriously not, much time to work with at all, especially if you have 1 or 0 timeouts. I can't remember exactly. So, I mean, it's a difficult call to make. I can see both sides of the coin. There's just as good of a chance that we would have lost if we did call a timeout with 30 seconds left and then tried to go down and get a field goal to win the game, as compared to just, trusting our guys to get a big block or their kicker to miss, because from what I remember, he wasn't the best statistical kicker by any means in the PSAC this past season. So, I get it, ice him, 3 seconds left. If they would have driven down and only had 3 seconds, it wouldn't have made a difference. So I could see both sides of the coin. Yeah, it's a tough way to lose, tough way to end the season, but call's a call. I can respect it.
You can't change the past, move forward.
Nope.
But yeah, so one more time, looking at the schedule. So, Alex, I want you on your hands to count the wins and losses that I think that if wins that probably should have happened, and then losses that probably East Stroudsburg. Obviously, Robert Morris was a win. Kutztown. I'm just going to read off the entire games. Bloomsburg, Slippery Rock, IUP, Clarion, Gannon, Seton Hill, one that probably was going to be a loss, Cal, and Millersville. So
Yeah, I mean,
record-wise, what'd you count there?
I would say that could have been a 7-4 season potentially. I don't know if necessarily we should have beat Slip or anything like that. I mean, we still came out and, they got out pretty big out the gate on us. But, East Strouds was definitely winnable. Bloom was winnable. Clarion was winnable. Gannon was winnable. Millersville was winnable. So, I mean, obviously this is all hindsight and this is all just, hypothetical. But, I mean, yeah, there's a world where you could definitely see, one or two things going different in each of those games and us being 7-4 instead of 3-8. But that's the way it goes. You go based on what actually happened. And, unfortunately, we had a couple of games that, were probably determined by one or two bounces. So,
yeah, absolutely. But
it's just going to make the team better for next year. 2 years ago, they experienced all the injuries and not this past season, but the season before. So 2 seasons ago, they experienced all the problems with injuries and all that heartbreak and all that difficulty. And then this year, we were healthier and we, dealt with heartbreak through just, 1 or 2 plays not going our way. So, for the guys that are still going to be there for this upcoming 2025 season, there's going to be some experience there. There's going to be some heart. There's going to be some grit. Best of luck to whoever's taking over the helm there.
Yep.
Best of luck to Coach Nolf for his career at Kiski, and best of luck to all of the coaching staff who are still over at the Borough. Love all those guys, and I would work for any of them in a heartbeat. So God bless all of them. Hopefully a great 2025 season for the Borough.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Coach Nolf too. See, I'm not associated with the team. Of course, I'm friends with a lot of the guys, but East Stroudsburg, he had he walked over because Avery was with me to dab him up, but he also dabbed me up before the East Stroudsburg game, before the season opener, and he didn't have to do that. So it's like he took time out of the pregame to do that. So Coach Nolf is a great guy. Don't care what anybody says.
Nope.
Record was a lot better, or sorry, the team was a lot better than the record said. So we'll put it at that. But all right, this is gonna be an easy edit because I just got to cut the beginning and then intro, fade.
Yeah.
So I might actually do that one first. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching episode 59. In 10 episodes, nice.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in the studio for the next show. Alex will not be with us.
Oh, sad.
We're still figuring it out. I don't know if Alex will be in the studios, like shows for Zoom, because it's the editings could be a pain. But for sure, I can promise you this: we have something fun planned for the first show back in the studio.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that. So Alex, take it away.
Got a little paper ball this time. Good night, America.